Hello, this is Anthony with Honda Snowblower Enthusiasts. Recently, there was a question on adjusting cables. I got a hydrostatic model here, an 828. It doesn't have to be on the bucket like I've shown here, but I just wanted to show you basically on a hydrostatic. This is an 828. You got your cables uh, behind the control panel. Okay, you see the control panel here, where you've got your shoot control and your forward reverse control. And you can do this on the ground. I just have this for demonstration purposes. On the right side, looking from the operator, you've got your auger belt, your auger cable and your drive cable on this one side. It connects under here. Here's the adjustment right here. You got two nuts. Okay, you got your lock nut and you got your adjusting nut. Now, what you want to do with your handles, um, there's no play right here. It's not loose. There's no play in these handles because they're adjusted right. If you got a little bit of play, it's loose a little bit, you can tighten up these cables, the handles, and it's hard to explain. It's I just do it by trial and error. I'll loosen up the lock nut, and if you want to tighten it up, then you pull down. You on this one here, you would turn the nut in, and you would tighten it up. If you need to loosen it up, if it's too tight, then you go the other way. I usually just use trial and error until I get a good. There's a tension here, and as soon as I get a nice tension, then I know that that's pretty close to being adjusted correctly. These will use adjust your tensioner so it engages your belts. So you want these adjusted like that, kind of tight. Here's your shoot cable and the adjustments right here. That's your lock nut and your adjusting nut. And the same thing, if you got a little bit of play and you want to tighten it up, you can loosen it up or tighten it up right there. Like I said before, I just use trial and error until I get it right. And then on the other side here, you've got your forward reverse handle. And a lot of people will tell me they've got too much speed forward, too much speed reverse, or they're complaining about not having enough reverse. Here's the adjustment right here. Here's your lock nut. There's your adjusting nut. Like I said, I use trial and error. I will loosen it up or tighten it up one way or the other. This is your lock nut. So this is your adjusting nut. And then I would put the machine and then I would try the machine to see if I have a good forward and reverse. Now there's another adjustment right down here on the other end, but I usually don't mess with this. You don't usually you don't have to mess with this adjustment too much. Excuse me. I just make sure it's tight, and then I do the adjusting up here. Okay, so that's basically what your cable adjustments are. It's pretty simple. It just takes a little bit of practice to get it right. And then on the HS80, where the owner was asking us about, on this side here, you got your auger and your drive cables also, but you've got two other cables over here where you've got your manual shifting. I don't have an 80 in the shop right now, but you got your manual shifter for 1, 2, 3 in reverse, and you've got two cables on this side. Um, I suggest you. I don't have an 80 to show you. I suggest you check the shop manual. One one cable is to tighten or loosen the tension on the friction disc to the drive wheel. And the other cable, let me think, what was the other cable for? I can't remember what the other cable is. So if somebody that's pretty knowledgeable with the old 80s or the 55s or the 70s, you know more about these cables on this side. I do know that one of the cables is for tightening up or loosening up the tension on the friction disc. Like if you don't have a third gear or a first gear or whatever because the friction disc is not making good contact with the drive wheel, then you can tighten it up here. Next time I get an 80 in or whatever, I'll show that, and I will try to reference the shop manual for those here. Here's your throttle cable. You can adjust your throttle cable up here. This is where I usually there's two ways to adjust the throttle. You can do it down. You can do it down here underneath the top plate. You can set your fast throttle and your idle. But when I'm got a tachometer on the spark plug wire and it's like 3200 or whatever, this is where I adjust it to get more RPMs or less RPMs. There's your lock nut right there. This is your adjuster nut. And then you would just use trial and error again with the tachometer to adjust it so that you'll get more RPMs. You get 3600 on this machine anyways, on the 828. So it's pretty easy. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you've done it a couple times, it'll be a piece of cake. I hope that answers your questions on adjusting cables on the Honda Snowblower uh, hydrostatic model. Thank you very much for watching.